Welcome back to the show, California Congressman Mike Garcia. Okay, there's that going on in California. That is the push to provide health care coverage to illegal immigrants. Sounds laudatory. There are issues around that. But there's also this. Let's move on to this story. Sean Smith, the suspect arrested in Pasadena yesterday in the brutal stabbing murder of UCLA graduate student Brianna Kupfer, he was let out on just $1,000 cash bail in California, in Covina, California, in the fall of 2020. He's now held on $2 million bail. What's going on here, Congressman?
Liz, thanks for having me. It's unbelievable. And by the way, if you don't live in California, you need to be paying attention right now, because this isn't a California problem. These are policies that are actually being adopted and uploaded to our federal government right now. We have members of Congress and this administration trying to replicate what's going on in California across the entire country. We're seeing it real time. What's going on in California is the result of decades of bad policies that have led to a perfect storm that favors these criminals. And we have district attorneys like ours in LA County, District Attorney Gascon, who's actually acting like a defender of these criminals rather than someone who's supposed to be prosecuting them. In the case of Brianna Kupfer, we had a suspect who had a prior history of arrests where he would have been charged with a felony in the past, but because of a bill called Prop 47 in California, that charge was downgraded to a misdemeanor, and he was let out and ultimately killed a beautiful and innocent young lady who was simply doing her job. It's like the 1800s in California right now. We have trains derailing because of all the trash on the rails. We have trains being robbed, people being killed in the streets, and people not being held accountable for the crimes. This is while Newsom is blaming the prosecutors, and the prosecutors are just passing the buck.
You know, the governor blamed the soft on crime prosecutors, but then the governor said he defends and supports the laws that let that downgraded felonies into misdemeanors and reduced the prison sentences and the bail. You know, in Oregon, 2 DAs and homicide victims' families as well, moving to stop the governor in a lawsuit. She wants to release out of jail more than 1,000 criminals. They say they could go on to kill again and assault and loot and rob, too. There's that story. Let's get back to, so that there's a pushback now, it seems. It's kind of small, but it's coming. Why is this? What about this, Congressman? Why was Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, why is he AWOL on the looting of cargo trains in L.A.? This is a supply chain. I mean, just last week, Pete Buttigieg was in Los Angeles at the ports there to say, quote, "We saved Christmas. It's so bad, 17 train cars derailed because the tracks are littered with looted packages." Why is he AWOL now?
Yeah, I don't know how you save Christmas after Christmas, and he shows up after all of his personal life priorities come first. So look, he's way late to this problem. The supply chain issues are still challenging us during COVID. In the midst of this, where we're having shortages in testing and PPE, we're seeing COVID tests scattered across railroad tracks with the looting and the robberies that we're seeing. Let's be very clear on this whole issue, okay? This is the result of policies and politicians who have defended this defund the police movement and are still behind closed doors pushing to defund the police. I had LA County Sheriff Villanueva call me yesterday saying that he is not allowed to hire new police officers because of LA County's Board of Supervisors policies. This is the problem. It starts with the President of the United States, within Congress, our governors in California and other states with these very progressive liberal policies on crime. They think it's doing something good for their communities, but it's absolutely putting us at risk. And the bottom line is people are waking up. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Okay. You just want your neighborhood to be secure, and that's what people are realizing. The Dems have failed us in this regard.
Congressman Mike Garcia, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it.
Good to see you. Up next.